Welcome to the 323 podcast, where we look at how faith and work intersect. Each week, we talk to business leaders and difference makers about honoring God in the way we lead, create, and serve, because in everything we do, our work can reflect the one we serve. Welcome back to the 323 podcast. Colossians 3:23 and 24 says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as unto the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as a reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." So here's the question we keep coming back to in every episode. What does it actually look like to run a business, lead a team, build something that lasts when you're doing it for an audience of one? Today we have El Paso native Danny Nassar with us. Danny has been helping families get into homes for more than 22 years through his work at Canopy Mortgage. And in a business built on numbers, he's never lost sight of the people behind them. Danny is a branch manager at Canopy Mortgage with a reputation for straight talk, creative solutions, and turning down deals that aren't good for clients. Danny brings a rich, layered faith background to everything he does, and today we're going to find out what that looks like and how it shapes Danny's work. Welcome to the 323 podcast, Danny.
Thank you for having me.
So you were born and raised in El Paso, but you spent some time away. What brought you back and what keeps you here?
I went to Austin, graduated from UT Austin. I was there for probably about 10 years. And then I wanted to come back home. I missed the family. Yeah. Parents got sick, so came back, took care of them. So graduated from college in 2002. I'm just trying to forget. I'm getting old. 2002, 2003. And then I got into the mortgage business in Austin, and then parents were getting sick. I was getting homesick, so I came back, and and I've been back for about 10 years, and I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing how so many of us were so anxious to get away from El Paso, and then we've ended up back here. Home is home. So. And
Austin's usually the place that people go venture out to.
Yeah, that is very common. Yeah. So speaking of your parents, you come from a Lebanese family with several different Christian faith traditions that have clearly shaped what you do. Before we talk about business, tell me a little bit about that family heritage.
So my mother, both my parents born and raised in Lebanon. So I'm first generation, where immigrants were, I guess, refugees, if you would say. My mother, born and raised Catholic, and my father, Orthodox Christian. There's Greek Orthodox, Antiochian Orthodox. So the St. George Orthodox Church here in El Paso was my upbringing. And, so we were raised Orthodox. And then eventually my father, converted to Baptist. So he was a deacon at the First Baptist Church, and we went with him there. So we love that church as well. Right. So in Lebanon, Lebanon has many different sects of religion. There's Shiite Muslims, there's Sunni, there's Christian. There's a sect of Catholicism in Lebanon called Maronite. Okay. So the Maronite Church there's one here in El Paso as well, off of Thorn, the St. Charbel Maronite Church. Beautiful church. Baptized my daughter there.
Oh, awesome.
So Maronite, Catholic, Orthodox, Muslim, Druze, DREW. That's another sect of religion in Lebanon. So it's very diverse with that. And we are the Orthodox Christians and Catholic Christians of Lebanon.
And it seems like in my experience, there are a lot of Lebanese people here, people of Lebanese descent here in El Paso. So why did your family land here in El Paso?
That's a good question. I ask myself that question a lot too. And I've asked a lot of my parents' friends why they chose El Paso. Some of them say that the mountains reminded them of Lebanon. We immigrated here because during the Civil War in the 75, when it broke out, the first one to immigrate from my family to the United States was my uncle on my mom's side, my Uncle Sammy. And he came and he worked for El Paso Electric, and he went to UTEP. So, what does family do? They follow what they're used to. So we immigrated, we followed him to El Paso when we escaped the war. I wasn't born. My eldest brother was born when the war broke out. So we're four boys. I'm the youngest of four, and my eldest brother, Eddie, Dr. Nassar, he's a pediatrician here.
Oh, sure.
So we all came here. well, my parents came here with baby Eddie. He was 1 year old during when the war broke out, and we followed my Uncle Sammy to El Paso. And I asked a lot of their friends, "Why did you guys come?" They all kind of knew each other there as well.
Yeah.
Like my parents, one of their best friends, used to rent like a floor, like a room in his house, and it's called Suq al-Gharib in Lebanon. It's called. That means the market of the West.
Okay.
It's like it was a very strategic area in Lebanon during the war because it was on top of a mountain, so it would face Beirut and it would face the other side of the mountain. So every military sect wanted to take. So it was like the fort to take, and they actually did take it. So the first time I went to visit was pretty heartbreaking in 1994.
Wow.
So, but that's where they immigrated from. Thank God everything's okay there now.
A little more settled, yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty bad, but hopefully, there'll be peace in the Middle East one day. We'll see.
From your lips to God's ears, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you grew up here and came back. And tell me a little bit about your journey into mortgage and how you ended up in the mortgage industry.
So after college, I graduated in economics at UT Austin. And I mean, I never knew what I was going to be when I grew up. Even when I graduated, I didn't know what I was going to be when I grew up. So I thought I wanted to be an attorney. I worked for law firms, and it wasn't really my cup of tea. And my really good friend, my college roommate at the time, he's like, "Hey, I got a job at a mortgage bank." At the time, it was Ameriquest. They shut down, lawsuits, and so I was like, "Okay, well, I need to pay the bills." So I went. It was basically like a call center, and I started there. I was 23, maybe, and I got on the phone, started making calls. It was called Town and Country Mortgage. They were a subsidiary of Ameriquest. Okay. And then when Ameriquest had their huge lawsuit, they all shut down. So that lasted maybe about a year. And it's a tough job. At the time I was getting paid hourly, minimum wage, and then commission, which was very minimal.
Yeah.
And when they shut down, I felt like I liked it, and I caught on pretty quickly. So after that, I went on the broker side. Back then, this was way before 2008, before the crash, before they changed how we do business. And I was a broker, meaning you work for an institution that basically sends the loan out to different banks, like whether it be Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo, whatever it may be. So I was a broker for several years. And there was no salary, no hourly. It was straight commission. So I haven't had a salary paycheck since 23 years old. Yeah, and it was tough. But I don't know. I just stayed positive. I always believed in God, and I left it to God. A lot of loan officers, realtors, people in the business, they have a spreadsheet and they count the amount of deals that they have, and by end of the month they have a goal. My goal was, yes, to do business, but it was always to take care of people. And I never counted. I never got greedy to want more and more and more. It was more like I want to help people more and more and more. And
that's awesome.
It was sometimes I think to myself, like, how did I do it? And I try to go back and to remember. And it reminds me of when God divided, when he fed the 10,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. He just divided the loans for me and brought the clients. I just being a good person and doing what's right for people and turning down the business that's not right.
Yeah.
And it's worked out for me. And I'm so thankful for it.
What an awesome testimony of faith and trust in God.
Yeah.
Because, so many of us want to have all of the ducks in a row, everything lined up. We want God to paint this beautiful picture of exactly what's going to happen. And that doesn't require a lot of faith or trust.
Right.
So I love that story. So you recently said that in 22 years, you've never done the same loan twice. What does that mean? And what does that tell you about the people that you work with?
So the guidelines never change. It's kind of like being an attorney. I don't know. How can I put this? Like the law is the law, right? Yeah. It's not going to change. However, every case is going to be different. So the guidelines of FHA, conventional, USDA, VA, the guidelines are there. They change sometimes. They tweak every now and then. but you got to follow the same rules. The reason why they're different is because people are different and they're more complicated, whether it involves divorce or them moving from one home to another and renting it out. It can be very dramatic. So I've dealt with people in divorce, in the middle of divorce, people buying a house that actually ignites a divorce.
Oh, wow.
Which is really sad. There was one point that I was doing a loan for someone who was in witness protection.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and at a certain time, I think at the time I looked it up, only like 4 or 5 people in the United States are in witness protection. So I was doing a loan for this gentleman, and we have to verify who they are through their Social Security number. And he was married for about 20 years. And his wife calls me one day crying because we couldn't verify his social. We couldn't verify who he was.
Right.
And she was crying and bawling and saying, Danny, I don't know who my husband is. His name was wrong. His social was wrong.
Oh, my
everything
goodness.
about him. Because he was in witness protection.
Oh, my goodness.
They never bought the house. I don't know what happened, but it seemed like they probably got a divorce.
Yeah.
So you run into some crazy scenarios. That's what I mean. There's never one story. I've never done something that's exactly the same.
Well, and I think it's such a big decision for people, and it is very emotional. I bought several homes in my life, and every time there was some kind of emotional component in it, whether it was, a move I wasn't excited about making, or whether it was a great move, but was just nervous about it. And so yeah, I can imagine you become an expert at dealing with lots of emotions in your business.
Yeah, I feel sometimes like I'm a therapist. And it can be really draining and sad because, a lot of people are struggling. I get a lot of calls online of people that, they have 4 kids, making $50,000 a year, working 2 jobs, $100 in the bank, needing down payment assistance, and they need to buy a house, and it's sad. And I do the best I can. I put them on down payment assistance because that's a big thing.
Okay.
I try to put everyone on down payment assistance if they qualify for it.
Can you explain that a little bit?
So you can go down to a 600 credit score with our in-house down payment assistance program and essentially buy a house with no down payment.
Okay.
But there's a big misconception. There's a down payment and there's closing costs. So there's there's down payment, there's closing costs, and then there's escrow. So there's 3 costs when you buy a house. The down payment, which comes off of the principal of what you're buying the home for.
Right.
The closing costs, that's what pays for underwriting, processing fees, the points on the interest rate, because every interest rate has a different cost. The lower the interest rate, the higher the cost. The higher the interest rate, the lower the cost. And title fees. And there's the escrow, which are prepaid items. I don't like to consider those as closing costs because that's money that goes towards the homeowner's insurance and the taxes for the house.
Right.
But those are all costs up front, essentially, when you buy a house. The down payment assistance that I offer covers the down payment. Sometimes there's a little bit left over, maybe like a few $1,000s that we can contribute towards the closing costs or the escrow portion, but there's still going to be something left over that the buyers are going to have to contribute. And that's why I tell buyers, you need hopefully at least $5,000 or more to buy a house, even if I offer you the assistance.
Got it.
A lot of times they don't even have that.
Yeah. Well, so incredible that even that down payment assistance is available to people. So that, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
So in an industry where you hear all of these highly emotional stories and you're engaging with people at highly emotional moments, how do you personally process that and stay grounded when it would be really easy to let those emotions impact your personal life?
It's difficult, but I do rely on my faith, and I pray a lot for that because like I said earlier, that we are commission only, and transactions come and go. You can have 10 transactions in the pipeline, 20 transactions, and maybe only 5 will close. And when you're commission only and you have a family and you've got a mortgage to pay, it could be very emotional, very stressful. What I do, and this was a very challenging year because, like I was saying earlier, people don't have money, so they back out of contracts. They don't feel comfortable because of the news, the war, like inflation. So a lot of people are backing out, and which I understand. But although I do still think that this is a great time to buy because you can get a good price.
Yeah.
But what I've done this year is I prayed a lot. I did a house blessing, actually.
Oh, how beautiful.
Because I bought a new house myself this year.
Nice.
I did a house blessing, and I pray with my daughter. I just sit with it. It is hard, but then when I pray and I read scripture, it does bring me peace, and then eventually it's crazy, just like how it's been the last 22 years. It's when I pray, I don't pray for business. I don't say, God, give me business. I say, God, give me what is best for me, protect me, be there for me. I trust you. I never say, give me business, give me money. I've never prayed for that.
Wow.
And it's worked out. And that was earlier in the year when I would say I lost about 8 transactions, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And I had just bought a house, and that happened. And then now, thank God, now we're July getting into August. Things are good.
Yeah.
God just took care of me.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about your faith background. You talked a lot about all these different Christian faiths that you were raised in. What are some of the unique things that you drew from each of those that you carry with you today?
So I never really went to a Catholic church like my mom. So my mom, when she married my dad, she converted to Orthodoxy.
Okay.
Even though I baptized my daughter in a Catholic church. To me, I would say that I'm non-denominational.
Okay.
I think they're all the same religion, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I think they just practice in a different way, whether it's you take communion every Sunday or you don't, or confession. Or, to me, it's all beautiful. From the Orthodox Church to the Maronite Church to the Catholic Church to the Baptist Church to the non-denominational, even if you go to Abundant.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful in their own way. So me, I honestly, I embrace them all.
I love that.
Honestly, yeah.
My dad has always told me that as long as they're preaching the Word of God, if you go with an open heart on Sunday morning, God's going to speak to you. And I always remember that, as I have visited different churches over the years, of if you're searching for where Jesus is and where God is in that message, you're going to find him. So I really like that.
Yeah, and it's relating to the pastor as well, too. It's who you relate with as well. But kind of like a loan officer. Some people relate better with me or someone else, which I understand. I can't help everybody. Yeah. But, yeah.
What's God teaching you right now, either through your work, your family, or just in your walk with him?
That's a good question. Let me think of what is God teaching me right now. I think he's always taught me patience, resilience. I lost my father July 31st of last year.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
2 days will be his anniversary. My mother's bedridden, and I have a dying mother as well. I think he gave me my daughter. Like, God gives life and takes life at the most perfect time ever. Because I'm very close to my parents. As you know, I moved from Austin back here to take care of them. I think he's teaching me that you'll never be alone. I'll always be there for you. You'll always have family, because he knows that I'm very close to my family. Yeah. And to be patient and have faith in him. And my mom doesn't have much longer. I know that. She has a very rare disease that she's been struggling with for 13 years. Her lifespan was supposed to be 7 with it. Wow. And she's lasted 13 years. So every day I go and I work next to her and I hold her hand. And I think he's teaching me, he's preparing me for her loss. And that's going to be very difficult, because no one's loved me more than my mom. Yeah. And I know that my daughter is going to be, and not take their place, but fill that part in my heart. So I think he's just teaching me to just be patient and trust in him, that, I won't be alone.
That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So homeownership is one of those things that people talk about as a foundation of family stability, generational wealth, and a stake in our community. After doing this for 22 years, how do you feel that sense of calling, or is it a sense of calling, or is it something that's grown on you over time?
Generational wealth, like to build.
Well, just like the calling of being in the mortgage industry as opposed to it just being a job. Has that calling grown over the years, and how have you seen some of the success stories there?
Oh, the calling. I thought I was going to be a doctor. So I guess it did call to me to do this. It turned out I'm a numbers guy. And kind of, I feel like, taking care of the parents, like I could have done the medical field, but it would have been too emotional for me.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas doctors, they look at me like, I don't know how you do what you do. So I guess the calling would be that it fits my personality pretty well. And I have helped tremendous amount of people not just build wealth on the investment, because it's an amazing investment, but to be in a house, and I felt it myself when you're on that side of the table and you're buying a house, which I just did. It feels nice to buy a new home. It's extremely emotional, even though I've done it for 22 years, and I'm on their side of the table, my buyer's side of the table. Me as a loan officer, it was still emotional. And when I was providing the documents to my mortgage company, it was emotional for me too.
Wow.
And it got me to understand and empathize even a little bit more on their side. So the calling was, helping people to buy a home, helping people invest in homes. I have 4 investment properties now. Don't ever sell real estate. I don't ever believe in selling real estate. It always goes up in value. They've doubled in price. It's going to be my 401k. It's going to be my retirement. It's going to be for my daughter.
Yeah.
And actually, and it's a funny question that you said. It is my calling, because when I was a kid, I always wanted a job to where I can work mobily, or I can work from anywhere.
Interesting.
I would open a magazine and look at pictures of Europe and be like, I want to be able to go to Europe. I was young, right? I want to be able to go to Europe and work from there and then come back. And I thought that being a doctor, I would be able to do that. But this was actually provided me a lot more freedom, because I work mostly from my phone. I can be on the beach and do most of what I do. I can be at my mom's bedside.
Yeah.
I don't have to be anywhere at any time.
What a gift.
I just have to be on the phone. I can, be with my daughter full time when she's on her summer break, and work full time at home while I'm taking care of her. So I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else and be able to take care of my family at the same time. So I'm very thankful to God for that.
That's awesome. If you could sit down with your younger self, your 23-year-old self in that hourly job, what would you say? What advice would you give? Keep
going. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just keep praying to God and rely on God and doing what you're doing. I wouldn't change anything. I don't have any regrets.
That's
Thank
amazing.
God for that, because honestly, I let God. I gave it all to Him, and I feel I did the right thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what's next for you and for Canopy Mortgage here in El Paso?
Ooh, next for me. Keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully retire. I don't think I'll ever completely retire.
Yeah.
But if I do, I'll still do some transactions here and there. I'll keep my branch open, hire some loan officer, teach them, hand off business to them, and teach them and kind of guide them through the start to finish on every transaction.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if my daughter likes it, when she's old enough, hand it off to her.
Awesome.
And tell her to rely on God as well, the same way I did.
Awesome. Well, I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. So if our listeners want to find out more about Canopy Mortgage, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes, please call me at area code 915-221-1580, or you can find me online. I have several websites, TexasUSDALoan.com. That's for USDA home loans. It's no down payment requirement. Or VA Loan El Paso. We specialize with veterans. We help our veterans here in town. VALoanElPaso.com, or just call that number.
Great. Well, we'll link to all of that information in the show notes. So if you missed that, you're driving, or listening on the go, you can check out the show notes to find the links and phone number for Danny Nassar at Canopy Mortgage. Danny, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. God bless.
If God is writing a story in your workplace, we'd love to hear about it. You can share it with us by visiting 323podcast.com. That's the numbers 323podcast.com. We'll be back again next week with more great conversations on connecting your Sunday faith to your Monday life. Until then, may God bless your work this week. May He renew your strength, deepen your joy, and remind you that you're serving Him in all you do.